Believe in Bigfoot? Dogman? Any cryptid? Are you skeptical?
Curious about the supernatural, conspiracy theories, the unknown? Then come join us as we explore facts, tall tales, and encounters on Creatures and Curiosities.
Hello and welcome to Creatures and Curiosities. I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the long-awaited episode of Dogman. Right.
The one of many.
The one of many. So in this particular episode, we're going to kind of keep things to the Michigan Dogman, even though we're going to talk about different types. And later on in the podcast, we're going to talk about one incident that occurred in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And the reason we're going to go there is because I believe it is a good explanation of what a dogman could possibly be.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into the description. The dogman is generally described as a bipedal cryptid with a canine-like head and a human-like body, though the body is generally covered in fur. It can stand anywhere from 6 to 9 feet tall, with most sightings having him in the 7-foot range. He can have blue, amber, or red eyes and has a howl or a scream that sounds more human than canine-like, which kind of creepy.
It makes it more, yeah.
It does make it kind of like a wampus cat and other cryptids that have been described as more human-like than animal-like, which makes it just that much more creepy.
Yeah, because I've heard like packs of coyotes at our house plenty of times howling, and when it's nighttime, it's still kind of ominous, even though you know that they're probably not going to come bug you.
Yeah,
so
literally just had a pack of coyotes out here just a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
I kept telling my wife, don't put the dogs out because they won't be coming back in. And they scream and howl and make some funky little noises. But these dogmen are said to have a more human-like scream to them.
Makes it scarier.
Yeah. So I thought we could get into the types of dogmen because, you know, a long time ago when we first got into dogman and wanted to go hunt the Beast of Bray Road, I was not really aware, but over the years, you know, you study these things and you learn that there's actually more than just one. And so I kind of wanted to get into the 7 types of dogmen. They're listed as canine variants 1 through 4 and type 3 variants 1 through 3. So the type 3s, they range in color from black, brown, gray, orange, or reddish colors. And one of their distinctive features is the legs. The hind legs actually resemble that of a human in that the knee bends the same direction as a human knee. They're generally more ape-like or Sasquatch-like, yet they still have a small snout. Now, we just finished our Bat Squatch episode, right? And we kept saying, it's a flying dog man. It's not a...
Yeah.
So, and I think this kind of confirms that. They're often mistaken as Sasquatch, but they do have a snout.
Right.
And so this is a different kind. This is not the typical one that you would see, but there are a lot of sightings of these type 3s.
Just more confirmation we were correct.
Right. Yeah, it's a flying dog man, no doubt. So the type 3 variant 1 is tall and lean with a baboon-style head. A type 3 variant 2 is more humanoid, but with a dog-like head, and they say it is similar to like a chow.
Right.
So it's got the fluffy, thick, furry head on it. This particular dogman is often mistaken for being a werewolf because it has that
human look to it.
Human and crossed with a chow type dog, you know, so people think it's a werewolf. The type 3 variant 3 has more of a primate style face and is often mistaken for a Sasquatch. Yet, if you were to look more closely at it, you would notice that it does have a canine-type snout, which clearly separates it from a Sasquatch. So clearly, Bat Squatch is a type 3, variant 3 with wings,
Exactly.
right?
It has to be.
It has to be. It's not Sasquatch. It's a Dogman.
Yeah.
The canine type, that resembles more of the modern day horror movie werewolf.
Which are my favorite.
Yeah, I love those. Underworld and Dog Soldiers and stuff like that. I love those movies. They have more human and canine characteristics combined. So they have huge wolf-like or dog-like heads. They have broad shoulders and muscular chests. They have human-like hands with 2 to 3 inch claws, and they have the hind legs of a dog and can get up to like 10 feet tall. So those knees kind of bend like backwards or the opposite direction.
Right.
The canine variant 1, that guy looks much like just a timber wolf standing on its hind legs, which when you think about the American Indian folklore of the shapeshifter, and they always show the dog dancing around the fire.
Right.
Or just a human being with like a dog pelt with the head over it dancing around the fire. That is similar to what the variant 1 would look like.
Okay.
Big timber wolf dancing around on its hind legs. Its color's mostly black, brown, white, or gray. So very similar to just a wolf. The canine variant 2 looks very similar to a hyena. It's usually black or brown, and it has spots like a hyena. It's said to laugh like a hyena and generally has a menacing smile on its face.
Which is kind of scary.
That's just creepy as it gets. Could you imagine coming across something like that in the woods and it's smiling
As
at
it's
you?
gutting you, it's just laughing at you.
Yeah, exactly. A canine variant 3 is much taller, very large and muscular, like a bodybuilder, and it has a large dog-like head with pointy ears. It's probably the most commonly reported Dogman, and it looks very similar to like the werewolves from Underworld. So there's a terrifying one, right? That's probably the one that you wouldn't want to come across the most.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but I mean, of course, we'll get into canine variant 4 here, but I've always said that the Underworld werewolf is my favorite one.
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
The werewolf from London, that one,
Yep.
and some of the others where it's kind of on all fours and it looks timber wolfish.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's more menacing in the face and stuff. The Underworld one, that's the one I want to be.
Yeah, that's the stuff of nightmares.
That's the stuff of nightmares, and that's what I want to turn into.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So you would want to come across one.
I do want to come across one, but we're going to get into that as well. So the canine variant 4, that is the one that is now known as the Dog Soldier. It has an unusually large head, so large, in fact, that it's actually unfitting to the body. And they are known to be the most aggressive of all of the dogmen, and it's believed that they will actually kill other dogmen. Their color ranges from black to gray, again, black, brown, etc.
Yep.
And they are definitely the largest of the dogman species. So these not being encountered as often as the variant 3, this is the one you don't want to come across.
Because they're violent.
They're saying they're extremely aggressive, extremely violent,
Yeah.
and they will kill you. Whereas others, may just walk through the forest and see you, but keep on their merry
Not
way.
going to go after you, yeah.
Yeah, where the variant 4 is probably going to kill you. So I thought it was kind of important to get into the difference here because a lot of people are going to say, well, they're just werewolves, but they aren't. Okay,
Right.
So a dogman differs from a werewolf. A dogman is only a dogman, period. It does not transform into any other being, while a werewolf is generally believed to shapeshift between a human and a wolf during lunar cycle.
Right.
So a lunar cycle literally has nothing to do with Dogman. Dogman is Dogman. That's all he's going to be from start to finish.
Yeah.
He'll die a Dogman. And he doesn't turn into a human and, be naked laying in the zoo or something, with blood on his face. It's a Dogman. You kill it. It's
If you can kill it.
if you can, which I believe you can. I'm going to kind of get into that too. If you kill a dog man and it's laying there, it's just going to be a dog man. Whereas a werewolf supposedly will shapeshift back into its human form. So some people, and there's like a podcast and a guy out there that totally believes this stuff to the extent that he kind of goes a little overboard on what a werewolf is. But I thought, you know what, it's a good perspective to take, right? So I listened to this guy. So I'm kind of repeating a little bit what he says, okay? Some people believe that the werewolf is a pure species. It's spiritual in nature, and it is considered a protector of the land. Its sole purpose here on Earth is to protect nature. It's said to be far superior to man in both intelligence and strength, and it's born a werewolf, serves its purpose here on Earth, and it cannot be killed. So in the movies, we love to watch werewolf movies, and there you can kill them, right?
Right.
In this particular belief, it is not affected by silver, wolf's bane, or any other ingredient or potion that we depict in modern day horror classics as being able to detour them or kill them. It's not a curse, nor can it pass its existence along through bloodborne pathogens, saliva, bites, or scratches. A werewolf rarely attacks humans, and it only does so in self-defense. And so when you think of all the movies, An American Werewolf in London, how it had the intelligence not to kill the girlfriend.
Right.
Of course, right at the end, it kind of went ballistic and they had to shoot him because he was going to attack her. But so they were trying to show that it had intelligence, etc. But the reality is that, A, you can't turn into a werewolf. You're born one, and you can't kill it. It's a spiritual being. So I know a lot of like the Native American folklore in the shapeshifters and stuff, you really can't kill them, right?
Right.
Only a shaman could do it, or other, witches or whatever, and they could pass the curse along. But in this particular folklore, it is a protector of Earth, can't be killed, nothing you can do about it, but it could kill you. Like if you're trying to kill it, it can kill you.
But it's not going to kill you unless you try to kill it.
Right. And it's not going to pass along this supposed curse to you. And so that is one perspective of a werewolf. This is one of the main reasons that during our Rougarou episode, which, we love the Rougarou, right? A Rougarou cannot be classified as a werewolf. And we actually touched on that in that episode. It's not a werewolf. The Rougarou is actually a cursed being and can pass that curse on to others.
Right.
Whereas technically a werewolf cannot. Now, this is where the Dogman differs. The Dogman is believed to be quite different than a werewolf. It can either be like an interdimensional being, an alien form, a demonic entity, or like a genetically created being. The last being what most people believe. So if you were to discuss this amongst just the average person, like my wife, first thing she's going to say is, no, they don't exist, right? But if she was to agree that they did exist, most people are going to go with either it's demonic or it's man-made.
Right.
But if you get into not the average person, you get into somebody who actually studies Dogman, studies the variants and the different types, most of them are going to tell you that it is a government project. They were creating these like dog soldiers for warfare. They can, in fact, be killed because they're just a genetic creation.
Right.
So they actually believe that the U.S. government did an experiment wherein they took the DNA of wolves, intertwined them with human DNA, and created what's now known as these dog soldiers or dogmen. And so by virtue of the way the Dogman was created, it's not supernatural, it's not spiritual. It is a genetic mutation that it can, in fact, be killed. So, depending upon what you want to believe, there's the difference of these different lores. Rougarou is a curse. Werewolf is a supernatural, spiritual being protecting the earth, and it's not a bad guy. Dogmen, bad guys. Genetically created, mutated, got out of control, whether they escaped or were placed in different states or something to see, maybe see how, they hunt or
survive,
how they would handle warfare, etc. Don't know why they're out there, but the ones that are out there are they're not good. So if it's a werewolf, you might be lucky.
Yeah.
If it's a rougarou, just put your coins out, right? So that it doesn't come in your house.
Good.
You'll be good. If it's a dogman, you may or may not be screwed.
Right.
Right. It may attack you, especially if it's the variant 4, it's going to kill you. If it's one of the other variants, it may just pass on and leave you alone. And then you'll just be having nightmares for the rest of your life because you saw one.
Exactly.
But
yeah, the hard part with that one for me is I don't put anything past the government. So
no, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
Can it happen? I don't know that it can happen.
Yeah. I don't think that's what it is, but I don't put anything past them.
Yeah. I would say they would try to
yeah.
do something like that. I mean, we've cloned sheep. We've messed with God's creation. But only God can create. You can't mate a giraffe with a lion and come up with some form of a creature, right? I mean, that's not how creation works. And so to take DNA from a wolf and combine it with a human and make a test tube baby that turns into a dog man, I'm not buying that.
With superpowers?
But I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's outside the realm that they've tried it.
Right.
And maybe it does exist. Maybe that's why they're there. My personal take, and we'll get into that later, is that they're demonic entities.
Yep.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
The location of the Dogman is widespread throughout the continental U.S., but it's generally not seen worldwide, which is another reason that people believe that Dogman was created by the U.S. government. They're only here. You don't have dogmen like in England and stuff. Even though the TV shows and the movies, Dog Soldiers, those guys were Irish or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So those would be more werewolves than dog soldiers. There is some amount of confusion when it comes to Hollywood stuff versus what cryptozoologists believe versus, what crazy people like you and I believe. So there is a difference. But if dogmen were created by the U.S. government, unless they got on airplanes and flew to other countries, there's really no reason for dogmen to exist in other countries, correct?
Right.
So I think that's why people make the jump that we made them, and that's why they're here in the States. Werewolves, on the other hand, have been seen worldwide. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Almost every culture has them. And they've been reported for centuries, right? Back in the Viking days and et cetera.
Oh,
et cetera.
yeah.
So
yeah, they looked at them as gods back then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a werewolf was something else. And like in our Bat Squatch episode where we talked about, demons mating with animals and stuff, maybe they did exist as werewolves.
Yeah.
Because they were supernatural, right? They were part demon and part human. So I don't know. There's no way to be able to actually be on point with what these things are. The only thing I do know is that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of sightings since the 14th century of werewolves and or dogmen. So they have to be out there.
Yeah. That's a little bit more than just coincidental at that point.
Yeah. And even though we're going to touch on a few sightings, right? We can't get into the thousands of sightings.
No.
And historical, like France and England and Ireland and Norway and the United States and American Indian folklore. And I mean, you can just go on and on and on through every culture. There is a werewolf or a dogman somewhere.
You could have a podcast dedicated just to dogmen or werewolves, and you would never run out of stories.
You never run out of stories. They're always here. But for the purpose of this podcast, we're focusing on the Michigan dogman.
Yep.
Sightings of the Michigan dogman actually began in Wexford County, Michigan. But several subsequent sightings have been reported throughout that state, primarily in the northwestern portion of the lower peninsula of Lake Michigan. You remember when I was doing my travels and I had to go see, where Bray Road was in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to Wexford, Michigan, but it's just too far out of the way. So I didn't make it there. But while I was on my trip, there were reports of sighted dogmen that I was reading on Reddit.
Yeah.
And they were around Ohio, Pennsylvania borders.
That's got to be tough not to just blow your trip off.
I'll tell you what, it was tough.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go see these areas because even if you don't witness the dogman, just being there and looking at the environment,
right?
And then you look at it and go, oh, there's no doubt there was a dogman here. This is like forested area or massive cornfields as far as your eyes can see, and you think this is the perfect habitat for these guys.
Yeah,
and so it was pretty cool. So getting into the basic lore of the Michigan Dogman and the origin story, according to the legend, the Michigan Dogman appears in 10-year cycles. Those cycles always fall on a year ending in a 7. And so, according to that, he should be coming back in 2027, right?
Yep.
Which means we need to be
Which means we'll be in Michigan in 2027.
Yep. One way or the other, we gotta go do that. But the first known reported sighting of the Michigan Dogman occurred way back in 1887 in Wexford County, when 2 lumberjacks saw a creature they described as having a man's body and a dog's head. They said that it was 7 feet tall. It had blue or amber-colored eyes, so they probably couldn't decide, which one they saw.
Yep.
And since that initial sighting, most sightings have been reported around Traverse City, Cross Village, Big Rapids, and Manistee County, the majority of which occurred in Manistee National Forest. So the origin story doesn't have a lot of detail to it other than that's just the first known reporting of it.
Which a lot of the sightings are like that. It's just so-and-so at this date saw it.
Right.
There's not really much to them.
But
there's hundreds of them. Like you said, there's hundreds of sightings.
Yeah, and obviously we can't get into it. And because they don't have a lot of detail, there's no point in just saying, well,
right.
Little Johnny Night Stalker
Yeah.
saw, a dog man.
Yeah.
There's no sense in getting into that. Just understand that there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these things, and they're not just in Michigan.
No.
They're all over.
All over
the United States. And whether they're seeing a dog man, a werewolf, or a rougarou, that's up to, the
semantics at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows which one it is. But let's get into sightings.
Yeah. So we put a handful in here that, they're really short, couple sentence ones, and then we put a detailed one in here for you guys. But like you said, the original one was back in 1887. And then from there, the next one I got was in 1917. A sheriff was out walking and found a driverless wagon, and tracks were in the dust. And it looked like wolves had been stalking the area based on the tracks that he saw. On the roadside, he found a 4-horse team that was dead, and their eyes were wide open. So they ended up getting it off to the vet, and the veterinarian did an examination, and he came up with the conclusion that they died of fright.
Well,
so all 4 horses died of fright. No driver was found, but...
Which you got to ask, is the driver dead?
Right.
I mean, was he consumed? They were after him, and the horses watched their driver get massacred by
a 10-foot tall
dog man.
Yeah.
Of course, it would terrify them, and they all probably dropped from heart attacks. I mean, there's literally no detail to that story, but what you have,
right,
in my opinion, is a sheriff who's probably credible. Right? He's not a nut walking around out there, who comes across this scene, and without knowing anything further, like, where did the driver go, or was there any blood left behind? Was there any evidence of an attack other than 4 dead horses, which, that's in and of itself pretty convincing that something horrifying happened there.
Because,
right?
Like you said, you got a sheriff who's, you're going to assume, let's just assume he's credible. And then you have the veterinarian,
right,
who I'm going to have to assume is credible and went to school to study this stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else you become a vet.
So even though it's lacking detail, I believe it occurred.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, same.
Yeah.
So moving on, in 1937, over in Paris, Michigan, a guy by the name of Robert Fortney, he claimed he was attacked by 5 wild dogs, and during the attack, one of the 5 dogs ended up standing up and walking around on 2 legs. And again, that's the only detail we have from the story. But, I've seen the videos on YouTube where you have someone's like schnauzer that gets up and walks around.
Oh, yeah.
A couple steps here and there. But
little circus dogs. And, it's like my dog, Jesse. He'll run over to you and jump on his hind legs to get his paws up in the air so he can give you a hug or, rest his front paws on you. But to get up and be mobile.
Right.
Because you always see the little dogs like on some talent show or something where the little dog comes out and he's hopping on his hind feet with his little paws out. That's a far cry from like running on 2 legs.
Yeah. And maybe I'm making a big assumption here, but I would assume that a pack of dogs, dogs are smart, just like wolves. They're smart. They hunt tactically.
Right.
What tactical advantage is there for the dog to stand up and walk around on 2 legs? There's none. It puts it at a disadvantage, if anything. And if it's attacking something, it probably wants it dead. It's probably hungry, wants to eat.
Right.
It's not going to get up and walk around.
No, it's clearly a dogman.
Yeah, it has to be. It's a pack of them. Oh, people think we're nuts.
Yep.
Next year, 1938, a man fishing on the Muskegon River encountered a wild dog that he said stood up on its hind legs and glared at him.
So the glaring thing, that's kind of a...
that's a cryptid commonality there.
It is. Not just all cryptids, but specific to dogmen.
Yeah.
All of these stories that you read, it's always that they glared.
Right.
That they stared at them, that, they made eye contact. And we're not going to get into like all of the stories that have that, but all of the ones that I've read, that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
These things were like, it was just glaring at me.
There has to be a reason behind it.
Across the river or across the field.
Or in front of my car.
In front of my car. It just stares. You're going to get into the one where it's running next to a car and it's staring into the car. It's like, it's kind of sick and creepy.
No, it's frightening, yeah.
And I would imagine that would be the nightmare. Not just seeing it, but that thing looking into your soul, I think it's probably the eyes that are the creepiest part about it.
And you got to wonder, like, because nobody ever details it because they're probably struck with fear. But, there's obviously a difference when I look into your eyes and I look into like a dog's eyes. You could tell that one's human, one's animal. I wonder what the feeling is. Does it feel either of those or does it feel something totally else?
I don't know, but
completely different.
Like you're saying, an animal's eyes, you can almost tell, even with a human.
Right.
I always talk about the 1,000-yard stare,
Mm-hmm.
when you can tell that somebody's nuts, right?
Yeah. Oh,
They're just crazy and there's nothing going on in their head as they stare through you and 1,000 miles beyond. And you can kind of get a feel for people based on their eyes.
Yeah. What do they call it? The windows to the soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then animals, it's like when Daryl's looking at you with those eyes, it's like, he's going to kill me.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
You just see the anger and the hate, and then he's going to go for your throat.
Yeah.
And then other animals have the little sad little goo-goo eyes, that it's kind of like just they want a pet.
Yeah, just give me attention.
So eyes can be read, right? And it really shows what's going on. So I wonder, Dogman's glaring at you, is it animalistic or human?
Yeah.
Unknown. But we need to know.
I've
got
but
to
the
see
thing
this
is,
thing
and
at
of
some
course I'm
point.
just guessing because I don't know what I would really do if I came face to face with one, but I would imagine I'd be looking it up and down. I probably am not just staring into its eyes. I'm looking at every little aspect of it.
Unless it's mesmerizing. Maybe because there is some supernatural force you're drawn to its eyes.
Maybe.
I don't know, but people give a pretty good description of it though.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is why we came up with the canine and type variants of the different kinds of dogmen, because people have witnessed all of them. And when they give a description, those variants are an accumulation of sightings over the years.
Yeah, it's not some guy writing a short story just making things up. This is based on evidence.
Right, exactly. So people do give good descriptions of these things.
Yeah. So reports of similar creatures also came from Allegan County in the 1950s and in Manistee and Cross Village in 1967. Other sightings included a series of occurrences in Ottawa County, Grand Haven from 93 to 94. Most of those reports came from a man who simply referred to himself as Ben. He didn't give out any more information. He claims to have seen the beast on 3 separate occasions, which I kind of hate him, and it's only out of jealousy.
Right.
Because that should be us, but anyway.
Yeah, he's either nuts or very lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
So one sighting took place in December of 93, where he spots the Dogman in his parents' driveway, which was on Lakewood Drive. Now, he claims the creature was standing behind the car on its hind legs, and it ran off when he started screaming at it. Another separate account was from someone else in 94 in the same area. This report was of a run-in which the reporter hit a large animal with his car, thinking that it was a deer. No body was found, but he did find gray fur that was in the grill of his car. So not much on that one, but we added it in because, let's face it, it was a Dogman.
It had to be a Dogman.
And so now we get into, we added this one in. This is our more detailed one. And that's why we added it in, because it had so much detail. Because like we were saying earlier, there's hundreds of sightings that, like we just read, that are, 2 to 3 sentences. Not much to it, just kind of the date and where it was and that they saw something that looked like a Dogman.
Yeah, this is a good one too.
Yeah.
I like this.
So September 12th of 2022, trucker Joe Barger, a 6-year Army veteran, told his story to the host of a YouTube channel, What Lurks Beneath, which I've actually watched that guy's stuff. It's pretty good. He's got a lot of stuff on there.
Right, same.
He said this encounter took place in June of 2017. Now, Joe was transporting a truckload of paper through the Manistee National Forest when he noticed that he has an air leak on his truck. So he goes out to check it out and finds a small leak on his rear brakes. So he lays down under the trailer to start the repair when he got a, quote, bad feeling, end quote. Then he starts to hear vocalizations that didn't sound natural or human. Now, he says that it wasn't dark yet, but he also knew that he was out in bear country, and he sees a dark figure that he thought could be a bear off in the wood line. So he quickly finishes repairing the leak, hops in his truck, starts up a hill. He looks over out his right side mirror, and he says that, quote, there was a wolf head the size of my window, and my windows were down, end quote. Now, I don't care if it's a Toyota Corolla. That's huge.
That's a big
size of a window.
That's a
huge.
big head, yeah. And he's rolling along here. He's driving.
Yeah.
So this thing is pacing him, running next to his truck, right?
Exactly, yeah. He claims he was doing about 20 miles an hour at the time, and it was running next to him. And he says that it was stooped over, looking into his cab while it was running. He goes on to say at one point that him sitting in his cab, he's about 9 feet off the ground. So this thing has to go over 9 feet as it's hunched over and running.
Peering into the cab.
20 miles an hour.
Through an open window. Now, I'm sorry, but there's been a lot of cryptids that chase cars, right?
Yep.
So we've got Mothman flying next to a car. You've got the Lizard Man ran after that kid and jumped on the car.
Yep.
You have Bat Squatch stopping the engines of cars. I don't know. It just seems like a car is not your friend when it comes to cryptids.
Which would be the first, because obviously you have to know you're not going to outrun this thing.
Yeah.
So you got to go to the car.
You got to go to the car and go. And then you still can't outrun it.
No.
And now you got this 10-foot tall Dogman peering into your open window of the cab of your truck, glaring at you.
And your windows are down.
And your windows are down so it could just reach in if it wanted to.
Yeah. Because if it's
I can't even imagine how terrifying that would be.
If it's 10 feet tall, its arms have to be long too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just imagine, those big lanky arms that are almost dragging the ground.
Yeah, the underworld.
Exactly.
Werewolf look. Yeah. That's just terrifying.
He claims too that while it was running, he could hear its claws scratching at his door. He said it had bright white teeth with 3-inch fangs, both on top and bottom. It had pure black pointed ears, yellow eyes, human-like hands that he guessed were about 14 inches across.
Holy moly. So that's like a huge mitten there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
It's like wearing a catcher's mitt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, except it's werewolf claws.
Oh, my God.
And he guesstimated that it appeared to be about 10 feet tall. And he says, quote, his yellow eyes were darting all over the place and looking at me, end quote. Now that's got to be just...
I can't, there's just nothing to say.
Yeah.
Right? If I put myself in that position, you would be absolutely terrified.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that wouldn't be a cool moment. See, to me, cool moment is you and I go to Michigan.
Yep.
We're driving around. It's late at night. Got our thermal vision. We've got night vision. We've got everything. And you come across Dogman out in a field.
Yeah.
And even if he like looks over at you or whatever, to me, that would be extremely cool.
Yep.
Right? That's like the moment that you're living for. Found a cryptid. I got photographic evidence of it. Of course, you go home and find out that it's not. You didn't get a picture.
You either didn't get a picture or you're just scrutinized that it's a fake and you're a phony and a liar.
Right. But see, to me, that's a cool moment.
Yeah.
This is not a cool moment.
No.
You're just driving along and you got a 10-foot Dogman glaring in your window. You have no idea what it's doing. And it's chasing after you. So there's obviously some intent on its part.
And he's in a semi. It's not like he could just stomp on the gas and get 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Yeah. No, it's gonna.
No, this guy's
going up a hill.
Way.
Yeah, he's not doing good.
No.
So he remembers that he had his Colt 45 on him. So he pulls it out and pops 2 shots at him. And he claims that he shot it through the eye. He saw it go down and slide into the weeds on the side of the road. He drove up about a mile down the road until he got to a spot wide enough because he turned around. He wanted to go back and make sure that it was dead. But when he arrived, of course, Dogman was gone. Which...
Yeah, now see, so when you start with the story and you say he pops it through the eye and it goes sliding down into the weeds, I'm thinking Dogman,
it's
right?
Toast,
it's a Dogman.
Yeah.
It's dead. It was a genetic creation from the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And it's a living, breathing entity, not something supernatural.
Right.
So you pop it through the skull and it goes down.
Yeah.
Goes down immediately. He sees it sliding down the hill. It's dead, right?
Yeah. And at that, for people who don't shoot firearms, first off, this guy's an Army veteran and he's packing. So I'm assuming that he has some skill with a pistol. And it's right at his door. Its head is about as big as the window. You don't even need to acquire a sight picture at that point.
No.
You could just raise your gun and point and shoot.
That's a
and
point and shoot.
You're going to pop it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 100%.
Yeah. Plus he was stating that he hit it in the eye orbit. Right. So that orbital bone area, he saw that he hit it.
Exactly.
And it goes down, but then he goes back and it's gone.
It's nowhere to be seen.
So that begs the question. Was it a werewolf?
Yeah.
And if it was, why was it chasing him? Because if the lore of the werewolf is that it's a protector of the land and it doesn't attack people, then why was it chasing him? Maybe it was chasing him off. Maybe he was polluting the forest.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, his brakes were too loud. Yeah.
All I know is, you got an Army veteran. He's probably not a nut, right?
Yep.
He shoots this thing and goes back. It isn't there. So what was it?
Exactly.
And he didn't even, he knows it was a wolf head. He's described it quite nicely.
Yeah.
He goes back and it isn't there. I'm sure in his mind he was thinking, oh my Lord, what was that then?
Well, because he's also claiming when he first saw it, he just thought it was a bear based on size and shape and where it was in the forest. So it's not like he was out there hunting cryptids and was like, I found a Dogman and here's my story about it.
Yeah. And then, of course, it clearly, for those that are going to say, well, see, it was just a bear. Well, bears don't run bipedal at 20 miles an hour.
Right.
They run on all fours. They get up to 35 miles an hour.
Bears
a lot of bears.
Yeah.
They're pretty quick, but a bear running next to a semi that's 9 feet off the ground, his seed, there's no way that bear stood up, ran on its hind legs at 20 miles an hour, peering into the window. Plus, he saw the claws, he saw the hands, or he heard them at least, scratching on the side of the door. There's just no way that that's a bear.
And he also stated that he knew he was in black bear country, so he knows what a black bear looks like.
Right.
When his first description of it is a wolf's head, they're two totally different things.
Yeah. And if you shoot a bear through the eye, more than likely it's dead.
Yep. And they also don't have pointy ears. I'll throw that one out there too.
Yeah.
Bears don't have pointy black ears.
Yeah.
Try again, skeptics.
Yep.
So Barger states that it was the most terrifying situation he had ever been in, and he ends up having nightmares on and off for about a year. He didn't want to go public with the info because, like we've talked about before, you're going to sound like a nut job.
In almost every case, people will always say, the ones even that reported it said, I didn't want to.
Right.
But I felt it was necessary, for the safety of the community or kids or motorists or whatever.
Right.
They find a reason that they, in good conscience, have to report it.
Yeah.
But then they're always called nuts later.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
So he was talked into it by a family member. So he ends up speaking with a podcaster who I couldn't find who the individual was. And the podcaster took notes and narrated the story because even though he told a story, he still didn't want to be public at the time. He didn't want people to know it was him.
Right, which we've offered. That's part of our little
Yep.
our exit themes. If you want to email us with a personal encounter or story, but you want to remain anonymous and you just want to relate your story, we'd be happy to tell the story.
Easy to honor that. Yeah.
So that's
problem.
what happened here.
Yeah.
So a podcaster relates his story, but he doesn't want to be on the show.
Yep.
So makes perfect sense to me.
So then here's where it gets a little interesting. About 3 months later, he ends up getting detained at a scale house by state police awaiting federal agents to show up. So Barger says that when the federal authorities showed up, they were very intimidating and angry, and they end up telling him that he had killed one of their assets. He said the feds threatened him, confiscated his weapons, and shut his bank account down for some time. Now, initially I was thinking, it's not a government thing. I just don't think it is. I don't think they have the ability to do that. I think they would try. Don't think they have the ability to do it. And I also think he popped it twice.
Right.
At least once. At least one of the shots hit directly in the eye. Thing should be dead, especially if it's a government thing. But now, reading that part.
Well, okay, so if we believe this story.
Right.
So let's just say he's totally 100% credible. Mm-hmm. And you have to believe everything he says. He obviously killed it.
Right.
Right? Federal agents are telling him, you killed one of our assets. So when he went back, where was it? Of course, that's not saying much either. Yeah, I mean, we hunt.
Right.
You shoot an elk, can still run off 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that is true.
And lay down and die.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't actually kill it just because it wasn't there when he got back.
Right.
The question would be, how would federal authorities know that it was killed unless it's chipped or has a radio beacon on it or something where they could see that something was wrong? Because I'm sure federal authorities weren't following a paper mill truck, through the Manistee National Forest waiting to see if he might shoot a dogman. So with no detail on how that went down, that's maybe one part of the story that it's not that I'm having trouble believing it, but I don't understand how it would come about.
Right.
How did they know a dogman was killed? The story that he related to the podcaster, unless they went and put pressure on the podcaster to find out
who it was,
how did they even know who the story was about? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm torn on, this part of the story. And then, like you said, if it is real and they found him and they threatened him and confiscated weapons, shut down his bank accounts, told him that he had killed an asset, then obviously that lends credibility to the fact that maybe dogmen are governmental DNA projects created for whatever purpose.
Right.
Warfare or just to see if they can do it. Who knows?
Thinking about it, though, he did say that when he got back, he didn't find the body, but there was a Jeep and 2 people right by the kill site who, when he got up, they just claimed, oh, yeah, we saw a couple black bears, so we just pulled over to watch them. Now, if you're a federal agency who's got some hybrid dog creature that you have loose in the woods, I would think you would do more than just throw a GPS on it and call it good. You might have somebody monitoring it nonstop 24/7.
It's true.
Now, what if these 2 people play it off like that?
Undercover agents.
Exactly. And they talk to him a little bit, enough to know who he is now. Now they're monitoring him because they just don't want their secrets out, but they're not going to do anything about it. Now he goes on record about it. They hear the story. And so now they're going after him.
Yeah. And they could have been out there and tracked down their dog soldier and found it dead.
Right.
And realized this guy killed it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a big conspiracy.
It's a huge
theory
conspiracy
right there,
that now they're like, okay, you guys are nuts and you guys are out there. It's ridiculous.
But you know what? They're out there.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
Yep.
When you get into what are these, I said earlier in the program that I have my own particular belief, right? And so this next sighting that you're going to touch on is kind of a validation.
Oh, I agree.
Of what I think
Yep.
these dogmen are.
I'm right there with you on this one.
Yeah. So while it's fun to think that the government has created this dog soldier that's running amok in the U.S. and terrifying civilians, I just have a hard time with that one.
Yeah.
And I think that this story will prove almost my speculation on this. So
I agree, because that little conspiracy I threw at the end there, I don't really think fully that's what happened. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Everything
is possible.
If you have something that secretive,
yes.
you'd go at great lengths to cover it up.
Right. And so even though in this podcast we said we were going to only talk about the Michigan Dogman for the purposes of not being into a 30-hour episode and getting into everything else, this sighting that you're going to talk about actually occurred in Wisconsin, which is another cryptid that's often referred to as the Beast of Bray Road.
Yep.
This did not occur on Bray Road, but because it's in Wisconsin, it could in fact be the same beast. So it is different, but
solidifies our theory.
Solidifies the theory,
yep.
Right? So go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah. So it was 1936. Mark Shackleman, he was a night watchman at the St. Coletta School for Exceptional Children, which is on the outskirts of Jefferson, Wisconsin. He ends up encountering a dogman. So the grounds were comprised of orchards, gardens, a religious sanctuary, stone buildings, and allegedly several Indian burial mounds. So Shackleman was out walking the grounds. It was just before midnight when he saw a shaggy dog-faced creature with a muscular human torso. It was kneeling on one of the mounds, digging into the earth. Slowly, Shackleman backed away. The creature also backed away. At some point it ran, but it ran like a man, 2 paws on the ground, 2 in the air. When he went back to the mound the next morning, he saw the ground torn by the rake of claws.
So, that's now you're getting into the American Indian folklore,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Burial grounds being protected by a shapeshifter or a dogman.
Exactly. Yep.
Or a werewolf. It's a protector of the land.
Yeah. So that night he returns to the area. Again, it's midnight, but he was carrying a flashlight, like a club this time, because obviously he's a little freaked out by what he saw. And again, he sees the creature, and now it stood up to greet him. It was covered in thick, dark hair and smelled like long, dead meat. It had fangs and was over 6 feet tall. Its thumb and forefinger seemed shrunken so that it appeared to have only 3 fingers.
So that big claw.
Exactly.
Hand.
Yeah. Which is just, those little details make it more horrifying. I don't know why, but.
Because now I'm literally picturing from Underworld.
Yeah.
You know how it had those.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's literally describing that underworld
Can
werewolf.
Can you imagine real quick just being out, walking the grounds, thinking that you're just enjoying a nice cool breeze or a cool midnight, evening stroll, and then you come across a dogman face to face?
It's too much.
So it looked him in the eye, and it says a 3-syllable word, something between human speech and an animal growl, Gadara. Shackleman begins to pray, and he saw the creature sneer at him. Then he saw it start to back away. So he prays again. This time, the beast was gone, and its dead smell ends up lingering around for the rest of the night.
Okay.
So, I mean...
So there it is.
That's right there. I mean, how many times...
And this isn't the only story.
No.
Okay, there's another one that we didn't necessarily locate yet, but that I remember reading 15 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever it was.
Right.
Where it was sitting on a tombstone in a cemetery, and the old man's driving by, spots it, stops his car, rolls his window down, it's sneering at him, and it yells Gadara at him. And so for people that don't know the significance of Gadara, Gadara in the Bible is the city where Jesus went and found the 2 men that were possessed with demons.
Right.
Okay. And so when you get into the biblical story, these demons, it was a legion of demons, and they're begging Christ not to kill them. And so Christ allows them to leave the man, right? So he casts these demons out. They go into these pigs. And then, of course, the pigs run down the mountainside into the water and they drown anyway. And so he gets rid of the demons. But the significance of this is because this is 2 accounts where this has happened.
Right.
If Dogman is yelling, and I can just picture it in that human-esque but growling, Gadara, kind of voice, to me what it is signifying is that it's letting you know it's a demonic entity.
Right.
It's reminding you that they possess people. Christ cast them out. And I can't help but believe, and this was my thought all along anyway, that dogmen are demonic entities.
Yeah.
There's just...
I mean, how many times in the Bible can you read where it talks about casting out demons or getting rid of evil just by saying Christ's name if you're a true believer? That they run in fear, which is what Shackleman did. I mean, he starts to pray, it snares at him, and then it slowly starts to back away. He keeps praying, and then it takes off.
It's gone.
Because it's in fear of Christ.
Right.
Which just shows that it's demonic, in my book.
And that is exactly what I believe and what I think it is. See, so when you get into the conspiracy theory of the U.S. government, it's not that far-fetched to think that a governmental entity would try and experiment with things like that.
Right.
Okay, that's not far-fetched to think that. I just don't believe it could happen.
Yeah, I just don't believe they're successful.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think you can take DNA from an animal and crossbreed it with a human and end up with something unnatural. But I don't know because, man can't create things. We don't create life. So I don't think that happened. But demons, which also cannot create life,
right,
in theory, but they can, in fact, show up to us. I mean, the Bible talks about the gifts of discernment and whatnot. Some people can see demonic entities. Most of us can't. Thank goodness. Yeah. How horrifying would that be if you could actually see what's going on in the spiritual realm. But it makes sense to me that they're demonic, and then, throwing the term Gadara, because why Gadara?
Right, yeah.
Why would it say that?
And why 2 separate accounts?
Yeah.
It's not like these guys know each other and they're like, hey, let's make up this story about...
And they're literally referencing demonic possession.
Right.
So I think dogmen are evil, demonic things, which is also why there's not a whole lot of evidence of them. People see them, but there's really nothing, nobody's killed one that you can recover its body or anything of that nature, but you wouldn't be able to kill a demon.
Right.
So to me, that makes way more sense than a governmental project. But that story, I think, is frightening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Barger's, Joe Barger's, his is terrifying.
Yeah.
But this is even more so because to me, this is what it's all about.
Right.
This thing is a demonic thing.
It's spiritual warfare, yeah.
And it's spiritual warfare. And this poor little man that came across that, praying his little heart out, and it goes away.
Because that's all you could do.
That's all you can do.
You have a flashlight. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Smack it? I mean, yeah, if it's attacking you, obviously you fight for your life, but don't just lay there and give up. But
don't think you're going to kill it by any means, So anyway, those are, just for the sake of time, we'll stop there with the sightings. I think those are pretty good sightings, though, to at least solidify the fact that they are out there. These things are out there.
Right.
Whether they're demonic, whether they're governmental projects, whether they're good nature forces, protecting our lands, whatever it is, they're there.
Yep.
That being said, let's kind of get into some of the warning signs or how you may be able to defend yourself against these things. Some of the warning signs that a dogman is nearby is loud, deep howls, growls, snarls, or other canine sounds. Now, I don't know if you remember 14 years ago, whatever it was, when we were researching all this stuff. There used to be I thought it was just MichiganDogman.com or something. Remember, we used to go on that site all the time.
Oh, yeah, to see the new updates of possible sightings.
Yeah, and photographs and all that stuff. I've typed it in and it's not there anymore, so maybe that's just not what it was. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But do you remember the story where the boys had just watched The Ring?
Yeah.
And there was an old well
So they wanted to go out and mess
And
around
the
with
boys
it.
were going to mess around
Yep.
and scare one of their friends, take them to the well, and they were going to act like the ring girl was coming out of it. And
I
stuff.
remember this. I knew you were going there with
Yes,
this. Yes.
and they're walking along, camera in hand, because they want to film their friend being terrified.
Yeah. And it's pitch black out.
Pitch black, so you can't really see anything other than kind of the ground where he's walking and swinging, with the camera. But you can hear him laughing and talking. And then you just hear that unbelievable growl.
It's so deep and
And they just stop. They freeze. And then it snarls again at them. And they take off running, right?
Yeah.
And the one kid's yelling, "What is it? What is it?" And they're like, just run. And they run to their car as fast as they can.
Yeah.
They bail into the car. That was horrifying
Oh, yeah.
because I don't think it was fake.
No. Unless all those kids are Oscar-worthy actors,
Yeah.
which I don't think they were.
And I don't remember if it was the same incident or a different incident. Weren't they stopped by the police?
Yeah, and the guy...
And the cop asked him, "Are you out here hunting the Dogman?
Yeah. You guys don't know what you're messing with.
You don't know what you're messing with. I've seen it. It's real. And if I catch you out here again, I'm going to take you guys in.
Yep.
And we're going to notify your parents."
Yeah.
So I remember these stories from a long time ago. So when I read deep howls, growls, snarls, means there's a Dogman close by, all I could think of was those kids and how horrified they were. There's just no doubt in my mind they were coming across one because they were out there off of Bray Road.
Yeah. It'd be more horrifying, or it'd be horrifying to see one, but to hear it and not have any clue where it is.
And I don't think you could get past that.
That's a whole other level, yeah.
Yeah. So other warning signs are finding huge clawed or long fingerprint, like paw prints in the ground.
Yep.
But unnatural, not like a wolf. Those are big, but this would be like that 14-inch mitten you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Big old catcher's mitt size claw with like 2 or 3 inch nails that are out. Cat prints, their claws are retracted so you don't see them. Dog prints, wolf prints, you see the claw.
Right.
Well, if it's sitting out there at 3 inches and it's bigger than anything you've ever seen, you got a Dogman out there. The smell of decaying meat, which is what was described here with the long dead meat.
Yes.
That's really what that means is that it's just decayed smell, that rotting smell.
And that's distinct.
And it's very distinct. Or a wet dog smell or both. So if you can smell like wet dog and the foul stench of rotting meat, you got a Dogman.
Yeah.
Seeing a big silhouette or sparkling eyes in the dark. Terrifying.
Yep.
That one I don't think would be as terrifying because you'd think it's just a mountain lion or whatever. I mean, you'd still be scared.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's some wild beast staring at you from the dark. But not as terrifying as the snarls and whatnot. Or if you even have the sense of being observed or followed. Well,
which is kind of... a lot of other cryptids.
I was going to say, a lot of people talk about that with Bigfoot too.
Yep.
That they can sense it. They know he's there. They smell that skunk ape smell, the foul odor in the air.
Yeah.
And they know that there's a Bigfoot nearby. Well, could also be a Dogman.
Could also be a Dogman.
And you could misidentify it because if it is one of the type 3.
I believe it was type 3.
Yeah. If it's one of those, variant 3 looks like a Sasquatch.
Right.
So, who knows? You could have a Dogman, you could have a Sasquatch, but either one, you don't want to be there, right?
Yeah.
You want to get out of there. And then they get into, the defense end of this thing. It depends what you believe.
Right.
If Dogman is a spiritual force, nothing's going to save you. You're screwed. If it's a genetic mutation or a creation of government, it can potentially be killed. So carrying a firearm might be your best bet. Like this guy popped it twice through his window and at least stopped it, right? It went rolling down the hill, so it didn't get him. It may not have killed it, or it may have killed it.
Yeah.
According to the government, it did. So you can kill a Dogman. Can't kill a werewolf. So depending on which one you got, and if it's a Rougarou and you spill its blood, then you're going to become one.
I have to carry my notebook around with a different variant so I know which one I got.
We need picture cards, right, that you can hold up and go, oh, that's a... But anyway, It's also said that loud clapping may scare it away, kind of like a bear.
Right.
But then I've read other things that say, no. Loud noises may just attract it. So if you do come across one, it says to remain cool, avoid eye contact with it, back away gently and slowly, and seek shelter if possible. And don't provoke it by running or screaming or making loud noises.
It's like when you come across a bear, essentially.
Same thing, yeah. Obviously, dogmen are extremely dangerous and they can be vicious.
Yep.
So it could attack you. It may not attack you. It's the luck of the draw, right?
Yeah. Flip a coin, see what happens.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So getting into like the popularity phase of Dogman, first off, it's been featured on different shows.
Right.
Dogman's one of the most popular cryptids out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch probably by far, right? Probably the number one guy. The Kraken is researched more than most, and it's been around forever. A lot of the cryptids that we've touched on they're all popular.
Yep.
You know, people love the unknown. But I'm going to say Dogman is up there, probably right behind Sasquatch.
There's definitely more movies.
Yeah. So in March of 2010, Monster Quest ran an episode on the Dogman of Michigan. They may have touched a little bit on the Bray Road one, and then in January of 2017, Monsters and Mysteries in America, in season 2, they ran a episode called The Great Lakes, Wolfman, Dogman, and Wendigo. And I remember watching that one. I enjoyed that. September 28th of 24 is a Michigan Bigfoot and Dogman Conference in Mason, Michigan, at the Ingham County Fairgrounds.
Of course, we missed it
Which,
again.
of course, we miss everything, literally. No matter what episode we do, it's like a month or, a weekend before.
Yeah.
And we miss them. But that would be fun to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Just to hear what they have to say.
Dogman and Bigfoot.
Yeah,
not
big
a better combination.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I have here is that in late 2011, I think it actually got released in 2012, a filmmaker by the name of Rich Brower released a film called Dogman, which premiered in the State Theater in Traverse City, Michigan. So, an appropriate place to release it. And that was just a story about a couple that lived in a rural farmhouse and their animals were getting killed. And next thing you know, it's killing people in the community, and it turns out to be a dogman. But it was more of a werewolf story. The show is called Dogman, but the blood, they found a virus in it, and the virus was infecting others. So, it was kind of like the story of a werewolf where you got bit, you turned.
Got to get my hands on that virus.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that is not all.
Not even close.
On Dogman. Yeah. That's barely scratching the surface. But we kept it down to just the Michigan Dogman because there's many other stories of many other dogmen throughout the U.S. There's a million different werewolf stories to touch on. And I'm sure somewhere in the near future we'll do the Beast of Bray Road because there's multiple sightings on that one as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, my trip to Wisconsin where I went down Bray Road, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But unless you have anything else, Jake, I think
that's
we'll go ahead and conclude our Michigan Dogman story.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any information on Dogmen, we'd love to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
That's just our favorite thing.
Send everything you got.
Yeah. I'm like a member of the werewolf and different things, on Facebook.
Yeah.
I always laugh because people are always posting, how do you become a werewolf? And I always think, we're not the only two crazy people out there.
Perfect.
You got to love it. So anyway, in a couple of weeks and just before our Christmas hits, we'll be doing an episode on Krampus.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
I love Krampus.
Christmas time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you join us for that one. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help us out, then go ahead and give us a follow, leave us a review, and don't forget to turn on the automatic download button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And as always, if you've had any experiences, stories, thoughts, comments, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to cryptidfanatic@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to be on the show or just have your story featured during one of our episodes.